Executive functioning skills are really critical, not only in school, but throughout the entire life, because not only are they predictive of how ready a child is going to be for learning when they first enter their career in kindergarten, but it's going to keep going throughout the academic career, and it will also affect how well they're able to interact with each other, both their peers and adults. And we know that social, emotional well-being is highly tied to mental and physical health as well. Now, Martha, we're going to do this word cloud.
We're gonna try this out. So Ingrid is going to put a link in the chat box to a word cloud where we want you to think about what you are most concerned about as we're heading back to school. What is your main concern? I think you can put a couple different options. So if you go to that link that's in your chat, just click it and you can enter your biggest concern. And as you do that, we'll be able to see what people are most concerned about. Those words that come up most often, that are the largest concerns, should be biggest in the word cloud. We're going to continue as those results are being tabulated and as you get a chance to enter in those words. But while we're doing that, I just want to spend another moment telling you a little bit more in more detail about the work of the New England MHTTC and the Childhood Trauma Learning Collaborative, because I told you very briefly earlier about how it is a federal project funded by SAMHSA that has regional centers across the country. But I really want to spend a moment talking to you about it because there are funders who have been able to bring this, allowed us to bring this training to you, but also because there are a lot of resources through the MHTTC that are available to you for free and through the entire network. If you're looking for something in particular or for a particular special population, there are a lot of resources. And within New England, we provide a lot of free and available technical assistance to community providers, schools, and others who have an interest in mental health generally, and for this project, children's mental health and mental health within schools. So the New England MHTTC, again, that's an acronym that is difficult to remember, but it is the Mental Health Technology Transfer Center, which is not a very elegant name, but basically means that our mission is to use evidence-based practices to disseminate evidence-based means to disseminate evidence-based practices across the New England region. So translated, our mission is to share things that actually work and have a basis in science across the region to be responsive to the needs of the region. So our area of focus in New England is recovery-oriented practices, including recovery support services within a recovery-oriented system of care. So basically what that means in a nutshell is that recovery is possible regardless of diagnosis, regardless of where you come from, who you are, what you love, what you want to do in the world, and your relationships and occupation and where you find joy those are all really important ways of getting better, healing from trauma, healing from substance use disorders, healing from mental illness. So we are dedicated in New England to help recovery oriented practices throughout the region, and that includes schools and communities. This is led by the Yale Program for Recovery and Community Health. I think that we have worked with some of you in the past. That's the group that I'm affiliated with under the leadership of Dr. Larry Davidson. And I know some of you have participated in our person-centered planning initiative. We also have initiatives in addition to the Childhood Trauma Learning Collaborative. We have a children's mental health initiative. We have an initiative on early psychosis that is led by our partners at the Harvard Department of Psychiatry. We also have established the Let's Lead Academy, which focuses on lived experience of people in recovery. And we have a suicide prevention collaborative and we're working with partners in all of those tracks throughout the region to develop evidence-based materials, products, and webinars that are available to any of you. Next slide. One of a main focus in what we're doing, a main focus for the work that we're doing is to ensure inclusion. And that means a lot of things throughout the New England region, which is a really diverse region in terms of race and ethnicity, but also in terms of socioeconomics, in terms of rural versus urban, in terms of educational levels, I mean, language. We really have a really interesting region, and we are dedicated to ensuring responsiveness to culture, language, situation, communities, and ensuring inclusion in all of the work that we do throughout all 6 states. Within the larger New England MHTTC, our focus, as I said, is on resilience and recovery. And that means that our work is based on respect. It emerges from hope. It's family and person driven. Recovery occurs via many pathways, not only traditional mental health or psychiatry. It's community based and promoted through collaboration. It's holistic. It includes the entire person, their entire physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional well-being. It is supported by peers and allies in recovery, and it is supported through relationships and social networks. It's culturally based and influenced. It's supported by addressing trauma, and that means trauma not only on the individual level, but trauma as a result of structures and systems and history. And resilience and recovery involve individual, family, and community strengths and responsibility. So that's a lot of information to throw at you, but you'll receive more information about this in your packet, and it's available on our website. The Childhood Trauma Learning Collaborative's goal is throughout New England to enhance school culture and prepare school personnel to improve the mental health of school-aged children from pre-K to grade 12 throughout New England, and to promote the dissemination of evidence-based resources, and to bring awareness on what childhood trauma is, how we can alleviate it and heal. And so our work is focused on that mission. We do that through trauma-skilled, child-centered interventions to improve resilience, learning, and achievement. As Dana talked about, we know that trauma is not just, it's not just a buzzword. It's not something that happens because people are weak or not trying hard enough or are different or not able to heal. It actually changes the way that brains function and the way the bodies function. And so it requires a multi-pronged approach to healing the effects of trauma. That means addressing the cause, preventing it in the future, building resiliency, and helping healing. And we know that schools are ideal settings because this is where we see children, this is where we have them. And teachers, school personnel, community providers that are working around schools have a window into the lives of children that is unusual and really, really special. And we know that having informed, educated, compassionate adults in children's lives helps them to heal. The research is really unequivocal on that. So that you're all participating in this, that you're all thinking about trauma is an amazing step, whether it's your first step into this or you have been practicing this for a long time. That work is really important to your students. The work that we do in the Childhood Trauma Learning Collaborative is done through the work of our fellows, some of whom are with us today in Maine. We have two in each New England state, and they work with us in an intensive way to help to inform our work, but also to learn and more about trauma and helping their students. As I said, there are 2 in each state. They are educators of various kinds, from teachers to school principals and superintendents. They commit for 5 hours a month and work with at least 5 schools to help assess the school climate. They participate in monthly informational webinars, and they participate in our Leadership and Learning Collaborative. And the goal of having those fellows is to increase local trauma-informed competence throughout New England. So not having us come into a region and tell you what to do in your region, but helping you to learn skills so that you, who know your kids the best, can do your best work with them to help heal the effects of trauma.